Hello there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I am not kidding you when I tell you the story of coming in hot to get here. Originally, this was all supposed to happen at 6:30, and 6:30 was not possible because of a train. So before we get into all the other things we're gonna talk about tonight and bring our guests in, by the way, we have 3 of them already in the house. More to come, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. So I was at the shop today, working in the shop, saving baby bunnies again, because Otis and baby bunnies are now a thing. And then went to look at a truck, a 57 Chevrolet pickup truck for a buddy of ours whose dad is considering buying this thing. So he wanted me to go and make sure it was really what the guy said it was. And it was 30 minutes or so away from Waxahachie. Well, the problem was that where it's at is like, oh, it's only 30 minutes away. But then from there to anywhere in the world, you either can get on a freeway with a bunch of traffic or you can go on bumpkin ass roads, which save you time, but you're on bumpkin ass roads, which is all fine until you get to an unprotected railroad crossing on a county road in Texas. And there's a train that's 11,000 cars long, like 11,000 of, I counted them. I was like, 10,000 D1, 10,000 D2, 10,000 D3, and it was 11,000 train cars, right? And there was a point where I was like, if I just run into this son of a bitch, maybe it'll kill me, it'll be fine. But no, I waited, and then around the train. So then I'm like, there are people in front of me that have to go around the train. So then I get there and the train is slowing down because they have construction going on the railroad tracks and shit. So the train stops here, and where the guard things are like, nope, oh, we don't know where we want to be, right? And so I'm like, when it was my turn, I'm all, and around it, dude in front of me is in a horse trailer and stops where he is about maybe 6 inches past the chingus. Okay. So it comes down and I'm like, oh, that's going to hit his trailer. And it didn't, but I am between that and the railroad tracks in the Civic. And I'm like, well, the good thing is I fit here. It's fine. The light turns green though in front of me and the chingadera is still down. It turns out the Civic fits under those sons of bitches. So it didn't matter. I went, right. I was like, if it rubs the roof, I don't care. There's no paint left there anyway. So I'm in, but dude, it never touched anything. I went right under that sucker. So I get on the freeway. I'm just cruising along and I'm going a little faster than normal. So my time to getting home is getting better, right? You know, I had already sent everybody a message, said 6:45. Well, everybody but Crosby, because I forgot about him. And so at 6:30, he's like, hey, what's going on? But anyway, so it's saying like, it went from saying I would be home at 6:39 to like 6:38, 6:37, 6:36, 6:33. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Time to make a drink. I'll be good. So then I'm like bonsaiing along all fine. Get on 6:35 and get to where I'm going to get on to 75, and home slice Bernardo Retardo is next to me in an XB Scion and pulls the, hey, dude, you're in a Civic and I'm in an XB, so I can just move over here with you and you're going to let me in. And dude, I'm not the guy that's like, oh, territorial in my lane. I mean, we're all going to get there, right? It's fine. But dude doesn't even like give me the hey or nothing. He just starts coming over. And there's a dude behind me with a Dodge Ram with 4-foot extra extension mirrors and a 5-car hauler trailer behind him. So I'm not going to like drill the brakes in the front of this poor dude, right? So I have to dive over and okay, fine, cruising along. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm still going to be okay. I look ahead of me and I'm like, dude, St. Patrick's Day, we're the only people that didn't go to a bar after work. Like all of us right here are the only people that didn't go to a bar because all those sons of bitches in Dallas are at the bar because none of them are on the freeway. The freeway was like a graveyard. So I'm all, holy crap. So I'm down the overpass. I'm Spring Valley. I'm like, yeah, bonsai along, all good. I'm looking and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to make it into the house in time to take a leak and get a beverage, I got to go like now.
Mhm.
So I'm going like ludicrous speed. I mean, we're not Plaid or Holy Moly or anything, but I'm like ludicrous speed going up the freeway. And a dude is 2 lane. I'm in the lane to get off that is next to the exit only lane. And when I can get over, I'm ready to go. Well, I happen to look over here, and there is a dude that's 2 lanes over to the left in a minivan who has not realized he's at his exit.
Oh,
okay.
God.
He looks right and does not realize the velocity of the yellow banana hammock I am riding in. And he goes full dive. And if I'd have been doing 70, Home Slice would have been like right over in front of me, no problem. But I was not doing 70. So Home Slice comes over door to door, and I have to pull a Days of Thunder as Cole Trickle pulls out of the smoke and tells Harry it's all going to be all right, double clutches that bitch and drops it into third and hammers it. That was me, except I have 92 horsepower in a Civic. And me and the dude in the minivan were looking at each other, and I'm looking at him like, you dumb son of a bitch, I got this. And he's looking at me like, ah! And I'm like, off the exit, side by side. It's only 1 lane.
For anybody who's watching this, who's doubting Chad's story right now, let me point out 2 things to you. One, it's not normally Chad to screw up the Days of Thunder reference, but he did because Harry was not in the car.
No, he wasn't in the car. I said when Cole says to Harry over the radio, I got this after the whole smoke,
But fair enough. Yeah. Second, we have officially just named your Honda. I want you to know that. That thing is the little yellow banana hammock now. Thank you.
It's been the banana hammock for a long time. A lot of people call it the banana hammock. So I go down, dude. Home Slice finally decides the brakes are his best friend. So he dives in the brakes. I go around him, across 2 lanes, around some lady in a Mercedes, and back into the line. I'm like, woo, get to the intersection, and I'm downshifting for real now, and it turns green. And I'm like, around the corner, make the zigzag into my neighborhood, look down at my phone and go, dude, time to make a drink even, and pull in the driveway, get everything running, and here we are, ready to go.
I'll help you feel better about this. Yesterday, all right?
Yeah.
So weather's finally clearing up in Kentucky. We have gaps of good weather. Yesterday, I was not technically sitting at my desk. I was helping a guy put in a Hemi into a Dakota.
I saw that. Yes.
Right. So what the hell? We'll break out one of the older cars. Well, the charger is down because I need to do the ammeter fix. I don't want to drive it when that's still a thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my car to catch fire. However, we still have the pumpkin Mustang. It's fine. I mean, it leaks oil like it's its job, and it's got about the same horsepower your Civic does, but it's reliable. It'll start, it'll run, it kind of stops. So we'll take it out. Cruising around all day, have fun, car's doing fine. I mean, it's, for those of you who aren't familiar with this thing, it's an 80 Mustang with the 4.2. It's not a 5.0. It's barely, it sounds like it wants to fight. It's like a Chihuahua. It has all the noise and none of the actual threat.
Right.
But sometimes that's all you need. You just need that noise, and you just need a good driving experience.
Right.
I'm on the way back home, and I live out in the country area outside of Bowling Green in the cornfields. So when I say 2 lane, I'm talking 2 Suburbans with the door handles touching wide roads.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm cruising home. I'm following this Tahoe. We're doing about 50 miles an hour on switchback roads. He hits a bridge, and all of the spare tire, everything underneath this truck. This is like a Cat Eye era Tahoe.
Yeah.
Like GT 100. All of that rusty shit, tire included, all of a sudden decides, I'm out, bounces out of the truck and bounces towards the car. I use whatever 9% of brakes this thing has left, jog it into a field, up the ditch, back around. This guy comes to a halt like 100 yards down the road. He's like, the truck slide or something happened.
Yeah. And
I'm sitting there, middle of the road. I mean, you can see the smoke from the brakes. You can see me pushing this tire back towards this truck, just like, you forgot something, buddy.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
And because it's me, I I've been told I have this kind of intimidating stature when I'm slightly pissed off and agitated.
No.
Here I am holding this rusty flat wheel and tire assembly going, I think you dropped something.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Wickham is in the house. Charles Wickham in the house, everybody.
Howdy.
The Wickman is here. He knows about things falling off of trucks. He also knows about running trucks into things. And the one and only James Crosby in the house again. Yes, thank you. Big thanks to American Powertrain, our presenting sponsor here, Powershift Live, this lovely Thursday. It's cloudy and ugly and gonna rain here tonight. How is the weather there in lovely Colorado, Mr. Wickman?
How many fingers am I holding up?
8.
That's how many inches of snow we got today.
Ow! So does that mean you didn't have to go to work?
I have been out of work for the past week due to still dealing with COVID-related issues. My lungs are basically
not a happy
shit.
Campers.
Is the best way to put it.
Yes.
It's 81. It's 81 here.
Yeah. Well, it was like 77 or something here, but now it's cloudy. So yes.
I was going to say it's been 74 and sunny today, but I'm about to get it tomorrow.
It was hot and sunny and nice yesterday. Today it was cloudy but warm still. So yeah.
We're supposed to be like 50 tomorrow.
Welcome to Colorado. Ain't it fun?
Yeah.
Great. So all the snow we got today is basically just going to be slush shit on the roads, and our vehicles are going to be trashed again.
I laugh because Wickham keeps sending me like he sends text messages that are just a picture of the screen capture of the temperature and the wind chill and whatever at his house. And I'm like, I don't even have the heart to send him ours. Like,
I would like to be sympathetic, but I'm from Colorado, so I know how the weather works. It's just par for the course.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing is I remember every time, when I moved out here and I'd bitch about the cold, I'd get reminded about being in Arizona or being in Texas, both places I've lived. And I'm not saying Charles has done it himself personally, but all the same,
Yeah.
It's 8 inches of snow. It'll go away in 3 days. Enjoy it.
Well, and the truth is that in Colorado, that is absolutely the case. Like, unless you're way up in the mountains, the snow there is not, is not a weeks and weeks of snow sitting on the ground kind of thing, which honestly, I didn't know that. I used to think that was what it was like. And then everybody I knew that was from Colorado was like, oh no, we'll get snow and it's here for a couple of days. And then it's gone for a while. And then we get snow and it's a couple of days.
Ooh, it looks great for 2 days. Gets muddy for 2 days.
Straight out of Oklahoma.
2 weeks
ago.
Don't
make fun of Buicks, okay? Because the Buick guy is in the house. None other than the one, the only Jefferson Bryant. Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome.
Look at you. Okay, before we get started any further, because Crosby and I already were taking care of beverage. What are you drinking there, ladies?
Well, we'll go first.
McTaggart has his moonshine.
Still there's the moonshine, but it's also dinner time.
Wickman is on drugs, so he's not drinking.
I've got a beverage from 7-Eleven. So
nice. Dude, foam cups? They have foam cups?
Yeah.
Dude, you know that 7-Elevens only have foam cups in some places. Like, a lot of 7-Elevens do not have foam cups anymore.
Yeah, in Texas, they're all plastic.
Yes, all plastic here. So, Jefferson, what are you drinking? Jefferson's just staring. Like, I swear to God, he's locked up down there.
He's
Look
frozen.
at him. He is. I mean, I've never seen anybody that can hold. He's winning the staring contest right now. There he is. Oh, wait, he moved. What are you drinking?
Good old Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, working the devil. God. All right. Oh, Dina in the house says Mother Nature needs a mood stabilizer. You think? Yeah. Dude, I love the fact, Liggett, Bush Light, excellent choice. I love the fact that, and I said this on Tuesday during Beards, Burnouts, and Beer, that the Florida people are all like, what the hell is happening to our weather? Because I don't like Florida. And then now when the weather's all shit, it just makes it more funny because they're like, it's raining and it's snowing and it's cold and it's this and it's that. I'm like, yeah, welcome to Florida. Yeah, I wanted to be the marketing guy for the state of Florida, though, because I think the best marketing deal they could have, and I swear to God this would work, even though I'd be making fun of them blatantly, is we put the dirty in the dirty South. I mean, that's Florida right there. We put the dirty in the dirty South. I mean, the reason people go on vacation to Florida is because they just didn't know they could go to California. That's my
It's funny you bring up California. You've seen those ads on TV where it's like they have the beautiful scenes, the beaches, and all that, and come to California. They need that for Florida, but you need to have the cypress woods. You need to have the alligator in the ditch floating along.
Look at that, the beagle in the house.
Now we have a celebrity in the house.
I know, Toby, the $10,000 beagle. Mm-hmm. He's like, let me down, fatso. I'm trying to eat. Yeah. So, okay. You'll laugh at this while we're talking about states before we get into car shows and everything else. So they just announced the most sinful states in the United States of America. Okay.
As far as
some religious organization of some kind has decided who's the most sinful based on things that they don't think are good, right? So the number one is Nevada because of all the gambling and the Hooters and everything else fun about it.
Hooters,
yeah. And then number two is California. Okay.
What?
Yay. Okay. Number three, and this one is the greatest one because Nevada and California are like, cool. Like, we don't care, right? Like, we give two shits in a bucket. The third one, though, Tejas, baby, and they are freaking out, dude. It has been on every news channel, and every time they do it, one of the newscasters is like, that just doesn't seem right. That just doesn't seem right. There's got to be something else going on.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, dude.
Fort Hood? Are you joking?
I know. Well, hey, and it's the country, that invented the Baptist bar. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I came to Texas and went, what's that? That's a Baptist bar. I'm like, what's a Baptist bar? And it literally is like cabinet doors in a wall.
Well, you guys do have drive-through bars where you can pick up a freaking margarita.
Yes. Yes. Now, and they made that was illegal for a while. And then they changed it around because of COVID. They made it to where now you can buy pre-made drinks as long as they have a lid on them and no provision to put a straw in it. They can sell it to you. So every restaurant now, you could go and call Chili's and order up your food, but you can also order up like 6 beers or a margarita or whatever, and they'll send you home with all of it. It's awesome.
There are a couple of places that couple of Mexican food restaurants that you could actually get a gallon of margarita to go.
It's perfect.
So basically just like a jug of milk, pop the cap off, going down the road, and it looks like you're like just going to the gym, like
drinking your Gatorade. Yes.
You're chugging margaritas.
How do you know this, Wickham?
No comment.
Dude, my dad is putting in the comments Taco Cabana margaritas. That's a deal.
Okay, here's another one. Taco Cabana. You get the large cup from Taco Cabana, like for soft drink. Order 2 margaritas. It'll fit in that one cup perfectly. And it looks like you got a to-go drink going home.
A Mountain Dew. Looks like you got Mountain Dew.
Yep.
Straw. It's better than a foam cup like Wickham is using and a tall boy with a straw in it. Yep. Because then they're at least, even the cop doesn't see a can in there or anything.
Right.
Never mind. We're going down a Texas, number 3 on the list, and you wonder why.
But to go back to the drive-through liquor stores, they're in the town of McGregor, which is like 15 minutes west of Waco. They have a drive-through liquor store and feed store together. So you can get feed for your goat and your Busch Light.
Okay, we're beyond sinful. That's just disturbing.
I love it.
That sounds like the start of date night.
I think it's awesome.
I think I'm more concerned about
the
goat. Crosby says he's more concerned about the goat feed. I love that. Okay, so we have a few things that we are going to talk about tonight. I'm sure McTaggart has a couple that he wants on his list, but
I have a complaint too. So.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Well, I'll chime in later.
Oh, okay. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Riddler. So for those of you that are, in the hot rodding world and don't know what the Riddler Award is, that's okay. I'm totally understandable.
I don't think they know what it is either, though.
What?
I don't think they know what it is either, though.
Well, that's true. Yes.
That's obvious.
Obviously, from what they picked.
Yeah. Well, so the Riddler
I have
Award.
insight on that.
Yeah, the Riddler Award is given out at the Detroit Autorama each year.
Yeah, give them
they select.
Hold on, you got to give them the precursor to the Riddler. You have to be invited into what to get the Riddler?
Into the Autorama, into the Grade 8. Yes, that's where I was going. Yes. Okay. So when you enter your car in Autorama, you have to check a box on it that says that your car qualifies for the Riddler, which means it has never been shown before and no photos of it have ever been put out publicly. Ding, ding. Yeah. So
that's the big one.
Yeah, that's the big one.
In whole or part.
Yes,
right.
In whole or part. Exactly. And so nobody can ever have seen this thing. So then all the vehicles that qualify for that are at Detroit Autorama. And what they do is they have this group of Riddler judges that wander around and they look at all of them that qualify and they go, oh, no way. Oh, yeah, whatever. And then they start narrowing it down to the Great 8. And to get into the Grade 8 has historically been this incredibly awesome thing that you made it into the Grade 8. I mean, it's a really big deal. They then take the Grade 8 and they are on display with signs that say they have are in the Grade 8. And they then go and judge those cars more and more. And they judge them on every level. We're talking about cars that, historically speaking, guys take SAE shim washers and put them under the heads of bolts so that when they tighten the bolts down on the car, all of them are aimed exactly the same way. So all the flats are on the top or the side or the whatever. The insane level of detail is what the Riddler is known for. So it is about the craftsmanship, the quality of the build, etc. And there have been years where the styling portion of it, which is not the biggest portion of the judging, has been very questionable. But in recent years, in the last 5 years, there have been several controversial cars. I don't believe that I have seen more controversy, though, than this year's car. So this year's car is... I'm going to look this thing up so I can pull up a picture of it for you guys. But it is
31 Chevy.
I've heard more people. It's called the Showbird.
Yep.
I've seen more people talk about this car with regards to this year's Riddler than have talked about the Riddler at all. Like nobody talked about the Riddler this year at all. And then all of a sudden this thing was in the running and everybody's like, what the actual F is going on? Like, oh my God. Now, there are a ton of cool things on this. I'm going to give my opinion right now. And let me preface this by saying there are a lot of cars that I've owned that normal people probably think are stupid and that even cool car people may not like. So that's okay with me, right? We build our own shit. It's our own shit. It's fine. Nobody needs to like my stuff. I don't need to like anybody else's stuff. I am not poking fun at this car. There are a bunch of things on this car that are awesome. Okay. Like individual elements and parts and this and that are super cool. There are things going on in this car. I'm looking at a picture of it and I will put it up on the screen here in a second. There are parts of this car that I'm looking at that I look at and think Rick Dauberton would approve of some things on this car. Okay. But there are also a bunch of things that are on this car that feel so wrong for a Riddler car. And that's the thing that everybody has really said about it. and especially when you compare it to some of the other cars that were in the competition. Now, I will say, and I'm really sorry to say this, I felt like the competition was light this year. And you got to remember, these are 7-figure cars. The average Riddler build is way over $1 million. There have been Riddler builds that have cost $2 and $3 million to do or more. These are not a build it in a year car. They're not a build it in 2 years car. If you had a team of 20, it would take years to build one of these cars. So, so for what it's worth, I'm going to work on getting a picture up here. Raise your hand? Who wants to talk about this first? All right, Crosby, lay it. Let's see. What do you think of this thing? And I will make it be on the screen here.
I think the caption below the picture should be 4 different cars on 4 wheels.
Yeah. You know what drives me nuts about it is that it's a Chevrolet, an actual Chevrolet street rod, which is a rarity anyway. And they did this to it. I'm sorry.
I'm actually cool with the Chevrolet part of it.
Well, I would be if they didn't ruin it. But
it just, nothing coincides with anything else on the car. There is so much going on, and nothing goes with anything other than it's got a lot of chrome.
Right.
That's pretty much what I've got. It's an exercise in excess with lowrider paint. That's what I've got.
Exactly.
Well,
You have all the different
I
elements.
was talking with a friend of mine about this, and he was talking about how the one thing about the Riddler is judging literally weighs the quantity of the modifications versus the style. The style is the lowest on the list. It's how many modifications and what exactly did you do. Obviously, it has to be top quality, and this is a top quality build. It's just there's so many things that don't match the rest of the car and stylistically are atrocious. The rear fenders, for one.
Oh, I'm getting there. Boys.
Really? The rear fenders are what bothers you?
That's probably what bothers. That's
the highlight.
The rear fenders and the rear tires, the rear end altogether.
I'll be the one to say something nice about it, and this is a stretch for me. I really did. Whoever
Hold on, I like that. That's really good.
It's like a flat brim hat on an Amish guy. It just
well said.
But you look at it, you go, okay, the paint is gorgeous. Whoever knocked the paint out, you need to have your name in lights. And from what little I can see of the interior, from what I'm looking at, the interior is well done and doesn't, it goes for the theme of the car. It's actually pretty reserved. But everything on the outside, this thing looks
like
it looks like a Hot Wheels car come to life.
She's got a nice
That's the best way to describe it. It's a Hot Wheels car in 1-to-1 scale.
Yeah.
Right. 100%.
One of the things that bothers me is the steering wheel. If you looked where they cut out the lower part of it. So is it because the owner's like fat like me and just needs room for his stomach or something? But it's just like kind of like Knight Rider or something like that flipped upside down, or the Batmobile steering wheel.
Right. So I want to show all the pictures, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to show a couple of them, and we'll roll with these. But there's just some oddities.
Impressed with the tubing work, though.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, that one is for real. So what is going on here? Okay.
It's like we got Pro Street mixed with a 50 style chop top body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so odd. Like, I just don't.
And the thing is that if the fenders in the back were completed, like all the way proper, and the front end, and that front end needs to be shown. The front end is the worst part to me when you're looking at the car from the nose. And I can't wait for the reactions from you guys.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up a picture of the front end.
Well, this is me looking at that one photo right now. If you got rid of just the running boards and the fenders,
it's a completely different car.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's so much better of a car without the fenders.
I think it would look 90% better without the fenders.
Oh,
But you
100%.
can't fix that.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
not a
fixing that
Duesenberg.
view right there.
Right.
It looks like
And-
it threw up and it all got stuck hanging out of its mouth.
So you look at this thing and it's, I mean, okay, here we go. Here we go.
There you
Now
go.
we're getting bigger. Sorry, I had to play with this. Well, okay,
But
I can make it just be there. So everybody can hear us talk about this thing. So you'll look here on the rear fender where the cutouts are. Obviously, that's been a bone of contention for all of us, right? None of us has liked that. I'm trying to see if I can just scroll through these, but I can't. So that's photo 2. So okay, so this one is the tube work on it, like the headers and stuff. Impressive.
Oh, phenomenal.
Right? I mean, I dig that. And I
The
even
craftsmanship is
like
spectacular.
And I even like, which is weird for me, and Crosby's going to laugh when I say this, but
What?
the hydraulically actuated coilover suspension looks like it might be kind of cool, actually. I normally don't like to see any of that stuff, but okay, I can dig that. I'm with you that if this thing didn't have fenders on it, it would look like such a race car. It would be cool. Now, okay, if you look down the side of the running board and you get to where the exhaust comes out of the running board there, dude, that is, what the hell? That doesn't go with this at all.
At all.
I mean,
If that was flush, I'd be more on board with it, but
Yes,
it's not.
Yes.
right.
100%.
Yeah. The sticking out reminds me of somebody trying to do it's 4th gen Camaro exhaust tips. It's like putting them on an OBS Chevy truck and sticking them out under the fender. That's what it looks like under the bedside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wickham, I'm calling, dude. That's what we're doing to your truck.
No.
That sons of bitches are coming out in front of the tires.
No.
Yes. In fact, we're going to line up like 4 of them because your long bed lifestyle, dude, you got a lot of bed right there in front of the tire.
No.
It's going to be awesome.
No.
Yeah. So that is just, I mean, that's just, there's so much great. I'm not even reading the comments. People are probably hating us.
I just can't get past that grill. The grill with the turbos kills
It's
me.
awful. It looks
I
kind of
know.
like a dune buggy with a bunch of lights.
I know.
It does. None of it works.
And I feel really bad because so the steering coming out of the cowl, right? Like Crosby will totally know. I dig that if this was an open wheel traditional car.
Yeah.
Like totally down. Crosby also knows that like panel paint, lowrider paint, my jam. Love it. On this thing, like, oh my God.
I can
Hold on a
forgive the
second, though,
paint.
because in the comments, Caleb McManus nails it. He says, "Oh yeah, my kid has that Hot Wheels car." It's exactly what it is. It got swelled up.
Yeah, I can forgive the paint itself. The paint is gorgeous. I love the color. I like the inset around the window with the bow tie graphics embedded in, kind of like lace. I like that. It's a lot of good ideas.
I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot or anything for that. It's okay. We can disagree on that. That's minor stuff to me,
Right.
I mean, and the paint work, I mean, I can only tell you from the pictures, it looks gorgeous, right? I mean, Autorama is horrific to go to and look at cars. Everybody that's been there knows it's horrible. All those stupid little round dot lights up there in the sky, all they are little dots over every car. So the better the paint is, the crazier it looks with all these dots. And photos are horrible there because all the shiny means you can't see anything because cameras are not as good as the human eye, obviously. But
yeah, you're going into epileptic seizures with the freaking lights.
Yes, 100%. It's like, God, but the 38.5-inch tall wheel in the back with the sport, I know it's a 22 or something, but for the love of God, right?
Is there a radiator in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be the
That's
front
the thing.
shell, wouldn't it?
It is hidden by all that crap on the front. It's hidden by the tubing, the turbos, and the headlights.
Yeah, but look, the charge piping goes through the grill shell. So is the radiator underneath those? I don't know.
Well,
I
the
don't
thing is, on some of those, depending on the show, the car actually has to go
Well,
forward
that
and
Grand
backwards.
National, it has to. Yes, at the Grand National, it has to.
Some of the rules for ISCA, yes, it does. Like Houston and Dallas, they want the cars to actually run and drive coming indoors.
Yeah, and they usually put like felt on the brake pads and stuff so that they won't scratch up the rotors and stuff when they drive them in.
Yeah, the tires are all wrapped in saran wrap.
Yeah, exactly. They just literally idle them, and that's it. But
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's a requirement of the Riddler. If
Yeah.
anybody else does, let me know.
Chad,
I mean,
ask
I could do a
Scott
little
Clark about tuning cars like that. Remember the 40?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yes,
30 seconds at a time.
To tune the car, because they couldn't let it run for longer than 30 seconds for fear that it would color the headers.
Oh, the 44 from Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those guys, and now, like, you want to talk about an absolutely stunning, beautiful in every way, design, execution, all of it. That car was unbelievable, and
they drive it.
Oh yeah, the guy that owns it now like drives it all the time. Yeah.
So he got the Bonneville and got the whole thing covered in salt.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. So I don't want to sound like I know we're bashing on this thing, and I'm sorry, because that's not my intention. I hope that here's my deal. I hope that the guy that had this built, I hope that he is absolutely thrilled with the result and that he is as proud as he can be. I congratulate him. If this is what he wanted it to be, I am thrilled to death for him. But I can tell you that for me, it just feels, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Especially when you compare it with what was in the grade 8.
I like that. I love that CUDA.
The CUDA's good. I also like the Studebaker and the Oldsmobile.
Yes.
See,
you mean the Pontiac? The green car?
No, it's almost black. It's a maroon 50 Olds.
Black cherry Olds.
And then the Studebaker pickup 51.
With a C1 Corvette stripe.
Oh, okay, the 50 Olds. Okay.
Hold on, I'll try and see I'll try and pull up the.
But it's under the hood. It looks like what you'd see at any average car show.
Which car?
Right, but
1950
clean. Oldsmobile.
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
Great. It looks great. I like it, but that's not going to pass muster.
No, but I also like the fact that this is somebody's long-term project build. Yeah. I get that for the Riddler, this is a little bit lower key, but I like the fact that this actually made it because it's one guy. This is his own 15-year project per what I'm understanding.
Yeah, so here are the great 8 cars, okay, for everybody to see right here on your screen. So
car.
Yeah, it's a clean looking car. So this thing is the one that you're saying that under the hood it was just like any Good Guys Car Show car.
Yeah, it's a later small block Chevy.
Yeah,
it's a Mustang 2 clip. It's got some cool custom touches here and there, but for Riddler, even I can say maybe not completely to the level. It's good, but it's not there.
Right. So then there's the Showbird that won it. So this car,
I like this.
In my opinion, this car is beautiful. Now, the one thing about this car, this 33 Ford Roadster of Don Snell, is that I look at this car and go, man, I would have loved to have seen that at the Grand National going up against everybody for the Amber, I mean, that car would fit in so well at Grand National. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, those of us that know the people that do, you know, that build the cars for the Grand National and stuff, know that there is big money in those, and that there are a lot of different levels of cars that are entered in the Amber, because everybody that enters is in the hall in the area where all the Amber cars are together, and it's awesome. And there are cars that have been built on budgets of, you know, of $50,000 and $100,000, and cars that have built on $1 million budgets, you know, for that. So now this thing feels like, I just don't like the car. It's too much of a kit car looking thing to me, so it doesn't do anything for me. So I'm a bad judge on this. Like, this car,
it is a kit car.
Yeah, it just doesn't do much. This 36 Pontiac,
This John Deere deal,
dude. So there's only one problem with this car. Well, no, sorry, two. Number one, the yellow headlights. Like, come on. And number two, the wheels are completely the wrong choice. Okay. Now I know why they have done that. Okay. They did it because they are trying to make this thing be like a pro touring, sedan, which is what the wheels are right for. I just feel like they ruined this car. Like, I feel like this car, this car needed like some seriously rad, like still big, like wide and everything, but wire wheels would have been like so classy on this car.
Some brushed brawny outers.
Yes. Wouldn't that have been cool? Yep. Like, dude, this car would look like $1 million with a really cool set of wires on it. Like,
but there is one thing about that car. Everything works together. I mean, I can overlook the wheels, but the car looks good for what it is. It is.
Yes.
It is one car. It is from start to finish the same car.
Well, and wheels are an easy deal, right? Like, wheels are a bolt 'em on deal. So you know what? But so you're right on that. You are 100% right. Okay, so I didn't know that this was a Studebaker truck when I first saw it. And keep in mind that I built one, a Studebaker truck with my grandfather. So I missed that part at first.
I get the flares.
Yeah, the flares I don't get either. It's got some cool details to it. To me, it's just too much. This truck looks like for the sake of doing add-ons, they did them.
Yeah.
But that
rather than it going for a theme. There's a company, and I'm not going to say it out loud, neither are you, Crosby, but you know it as well as I do, that build cars for a living, that build very high-end, beautiful cars. And they are very well known for going with a theme. Like, they pick some circle or some oval or something, and they roll with it, and they make it be on everything on the car. And 90% of the time, in my opinion, if they put 20 things on the car that are an oval, let's say, it's like 3 or 4 too many, right? They just barely go too far. And literally, if you just took an eraser and erased like 3 or 4 things off of it, it would be epic. And again, Crosby knows exactly who I'm talking about. And I feel like this Studebaker is a little bit that way too,
But I feel like that fits in the grade A. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's along the line of many of the other grade A cars.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, I can look, I don't understand. I kind of lose it at before 55, but I can tell that those headlights are, I'm going to go with Lincoln. Correct me where I'm wrong. That grill is definitely 4950-ish Ford. I like those touches. I like that.
Yeah, and see, I think it's supposed to be a bullet nose out of a Stude there is the thought, but it's not it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a Ford part instead of a Studebaker part.
It doesn't protrude as much as like the Ford.
Right. So Scott Malpass brings up a thing about the custom, and he's talking about this, I think the Pontiac, I think is what he's talking about. Oh no. Is he talking
he's on the Studebaker.
No, but he said The Custom also sports a severe 5-inch chop and monstrous 18 and 20s, and the engine is a 509 cubic inch Shafroth built W engine. Oh yeah, because that's
Really?
not what's in the Pontiac. I don't know. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so that is, I guess, what it is. Okay, well there you go. I
It
think the
does
motor's
say-
cool.
It does say it's a 49 Ford grill right there.
It does.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so the Challenger, the biggest problem for me with the Challenger is that whoever decided that's the way the hood should open should be smacked in the nuts. Like you maybe just a backhand, but somebody needs to smack his testicles. I don't agree with a forward flipping hood like that. I like them on a love truck or a Corvette or anything that came with them, but that whole slide them forward weirdo that doesn't do it for me. But that's a personal preference thing.
McGregor's
doesn't-
taking offense to that right now.
I don't care.
This doesn't feel Riddler or Amber. This feels SEMA.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
But is that because we're jaded and we feel like the Riddler needs to be older cars? Because that's what I feel like. Because my brain tells me that Riddler cars should be like 30s and 40s and maybe 50s cars. I know it's not right, and there's no rule with that, but that's what it feels like to me.
I think the
will
pro
agree
touring
with
thing.
you. I'll agree with you. For sure on that.
Go ahead, Wickham.
This is my opinion. The pro touring thing is kind of just you're almost beating a dead horse, and it's old, it's tired for building a grade 8 car.
Well,
If
I
you're
also
going that
feel
route.
like, in my opinion, so in this picture, you see the Bear brakes, and everybody knows, like, I mean, I use a lot of Bear brakes on all this stuff. I love Bear brakes. They're great stuff. But I feel like if you can identify the brand name of a part on a grade 8 vehicle, then that's an opportunity you missed to make it custom. Because there shouldn't be anything on there that's just a bolt-on part as far
Right.
as visual. So those
Well-
that thing should match the car, and it should say Challenger on them or something, which Bear will do for you, by the way.
Yeah.
So you know
You know what you ought to do, Chad?
what?
You ought to build a boat tail Riviera with a big air tube going through the middle of the car. Oh yeah,
Shit.
somebody
It's
see-
already been done. Yeah.
somebody
See,
already said that. Never mind.
Here's where I want to go with this, because the Challenger and the Cuda are two different. I'm of the mindset where muscle cars, not any cars, because a boat tail Rivi built like this would fit in just fine,
Right.
but a muscle car or a pony car doesn't really fit. But if you compare this Cuda and that Challenger, the Cuda
World
fits,
difference.
the Challenger doesn't for me.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and so, okay, it's funny you say that. So I look at this CUDA, and I prefer a CUDA over a Challenger, by the way. I look at this CUDA, and there are a couple of things very wrong with it, in my opinion. And this wouldn't matter whether it was Riddler or not. This rear, like, pan that goes so far down, like, that's all wrong in my world. I wouldn't like that if it was a $20,000 build. The other thing, and this is the bigger deal, the wheels don't fit. So like that wheel needs to be either 2.5 inches wider or have 2.5 inches less back spacing because it's way tucked under the car, which is horrific. And the front is even worse. And I cannot stand that look
They're
there.
Yeah.
Is horrible.
Yeah.
They're too small.
They're way
Are those
too
shot
small.
wheels?
I believe so.
Yeah, whoever's wheels they are, whoever measured them did not do the wheel company any good. Then my other thing, and this one is, I know I'm not, you know, I'm not necessarily the norm on this, is that those headlights I don't care what you have. If it's a muscle car and it has a headlight that looks like it's something that came out of a car from 2020, you should take it out. And then you should go to Holly.com and you should click on the retro bright lights and buy yourself a headlight that looks like a headlight that should be there. And it's LED and it's awesome. And that's what you should put in there. And I am not sponsored by Retro Bright, but I don't like headlights that don't look like headlights. Like if you have a headlight opening that doesn't look like there's a headlight in it, it better be because it's a cold air inlet for the turbo or whatever. Like that's my, yeah. So
And those
there you
are
go.
projector beams, but
Right?
I will say this: I was looking up some historical stuff. So the most recent contemporary car to win the Riddler was back in 1995, and that was Bob Rizzoli's 92 Mercedes 560 race car.
Huh.
Not sure why a race car won, but that was 95.
Right.
And then previous to that was 1986 when Dale Hunt's 86 Pontiac Grand Am Pro Stocker won.
Wow.
Since then, it has been predominantly 30s and 40s. Last year was that 63 wagon, and then there was a 64 Riviera in 2014.
Now, you know, up on the screen now is the Oldsmobile again. I do have to say, like we all said, this is a classy looking car. Like, I would totally drive this thing. It's beautiful, right? Under the hood, it's a little boring, right? But there's one thing about it. It is very themed. It follows the theme well, right? It has the cove, the Corvette cove on the side of it there. And that it has the Corvette taillights, which are perfect in the quarter panels. Like, there is a lot of, they did it right for what they did. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? So I give them credit on that. But yeah, so that's all of them, I guess. Yeah.
One thing that bothers me about the 50 Oldsmobile is that it's in a 10 by 20 display and has the waist high stanchions around it that just basically block the view.
Right. While the other ones were all in bigger displays without stanchions in the way. I get what you're saying, Wickham. Yep.
My understanding is that to be part of the criteria is that your car has to be in a 20 by 20 in like full display. So by that is like you have to have like one door closed on one side, one door open on the other side. You got to have wheels off. You got to have it like elevated where you can see the undercarriage, all that stuff. And I've seen in other shows where you have these cars that compete for $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 prizes, is that there always seems to be one car that the judges favor because it was like so-and-so's buddy or so-and-so's uncle, and it just kind of like gets mixed into the grouping, and you just kind of scratch your head, and I'm like, what is this doing here and why?
Right.
Kind of thing, when there's other quality vehicles that should have been picked over it, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know,
Michigan Street Rod Association is a big factor in that.
Right. Yes. And the car that won is from Michigan.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Here's you guys asked earlier, for Riddler cars, it must be operable. Start, stop, move forward, backward under its own power, turn left, turn right, and stop using the brake pedal. And it has to be driven to its display spot.
Okay, there you go.
So it has to drive more than a few feet.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense. I like that.
But to go, I guess, kind of go off the Detroit cars, the quality, I think, is this year has been like subpar compared to the previous years. And where Chicago is always the following weekend after Detroit, you would always have 4, 5, 6 of the cars that competed for the Grade 8 go to Chicago.
Right.
And even though they would still have the same judges, most of the time someone else would come out overhead over the Riddler winner.
Right. Which was always weird.
Yeah. And this past year, only 2 cars, the Studebaker and the what was the other one? The 36 Pontiac went to Chicago.
Really? The rest of them did not.
Yeah, and if you look at the ones that were in the top 6 of Chicago, my opinion, were way better quality. There's a build, what was it? A 32 Roadster pickup that Bob Thrash did a lot of work on. And that truck, if you look at that truck, the pictures of it, especially on Bob Thrash's social media, the truck is mind-blowing.
Really?
I mean, you look at the bed floor and how the suspension like comes through the bed floor, and all the metalwork is like molded around the suspension components. It is just phenomenal work.
So So, I like going to car shows. I mean, don't get me wrong. And it doesn't bother me if people build their cars for car shows, right? I mean, we've all been to a bunch of car shows before. But I've never had the money to be able to build some show car, I mean, I just can't do that, right? So, does that, do these cars still inspire people, do you think, car show cars? Or do you think they I mean, are they a positive or a negative anymore? Like, when I was a kid and you saw, cars at a car show, it inspired you to want to go home and learn how to make stuff, right? Nowadays we've become such a society of people that hate anybody that has, we're all jealous, like on the negative side. It used to be when we were kids, somebody had something you didn't have, you were jealous of them, but you didn't hate them for it. You're like, oh my God, that's awesome. I want one too, right? Now, we've become a society where if somebody has something and you don't have something, then you hate them and they're a douchebag. Like, that's just how we've evolved or devolved, as the case may be, which is horrible, right? So do you think that's come into cars as well? I mean, do people still get inspired by these, or does it make them hate somebody?
It's definitely both. Definitely both. I mean, for the last 20 years, as jaded as you get building cars, I still go to SEMA and I will still find something that is just special and unique and inspires me to go home and get to work on whatever it is I'm working on. I mean, that's what SEMA's always been for me, is something that, or any car show for that matter, something that brings me, when I come home, it brings all the things that make me excited about being a car builder. It brings all that back out in me as, through over the year working, you kind of get jaded and more frustrated with things. That's been always one of my biggest inspirations, is going to the bigger shows like that.
I can't talk shit because I build a hot rod Peterbilt, so.
Fair point.
Well,
yeah, for no other reason than to make people go, what the hell is that? Like,
No, I just couldn't pry the fucking thing out of my head until I built it.
I'll say it like this.
I am the only guy in the room that did get invited to Blackie's, so.
That is true.
Well, yeah, that's
and speaking of which, we just were talking. Well, we'll get back to that. Remind me of that, Wickham.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll play the devil's advocate. Like, I grew up reading Street Rodder and all this right about the height of the Boyd Coddington era, and yeah, they're beautiful cars. I love, a properly well built, well done one, but it's the unattainable. It's like, okay, you have money, you've done great things with it. How does this relate to me? This is why there's a lot of kickback. And when you get people who, these YouTubers and, people are just building random shit at their place and they're more relatable, the average kid isn't going to go, okay, I can drop $2 million and have this gorgeous hot rod that I don't even know who makes it because I can't identify it. But they know that they can go out and for a couple $1,000s emulate, whoever they're watching this week with a decent build that if they sank a few more $1,000s into could be something. So I get the art aspect of it. I love the craftsmanship of it, but it's not something I can see as being approachable.
But the custom stuff's always been kind of like that. That's kind of the whole criteria.
Yeah, but where's the line between custom and art? That's the thing. True. Any custom, because when you're at Riddler, that's art. In my viewpoint, that's art. That is top tier. The craftsmanship is to the ultimate detail. The attention to detail is beyond jarring. Like, you can go for hours staring at one particular section of the car and not see everything. I'm not knocking their work at all. I'm just saying, how does that go?
I would say like this. So every single person that put hands on any one of those cars to build whatever it was, every single one of them started out just like the person you're talking about. Every single one of them. So it's just, this is the natural progression. You get to the point where you've done all these different things. You've been inspired by the things you saw and tried to copy and figured out all the ways to do it wrong until you figured out the right way. And this is the culmination. This is where you could build something like this. Do you
Shit,
have
I
this
need 130 years of my life left then
Well-
because I'm not going to make it.
Some of these cars that have been built into full-blown customs over the years, basically that was almost the car what some of these people started with. That was their first car, and they've held on to it where they've come into money or they've had a career that's made them been able to afford those kind of luxuries where it's like, all right, I can build this the way I want it. I mean, there's one car that stands out to me. It's a 34 Mercury that won the Riddler in, I forgot what year it was. Early 2000s, I want to say. Crap. 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was weird seeing like in magazines of social, the early days of social media, seeing like this is just a beautiful car. Everything was just one off on this car. Living in Arizona, and you pull up to a convenience store going to Good Guys, and he pulls up right next to you in a parking spot, and you're just like, oh crap, like what are you doing driving this thing? And he's like, this is a car I've had since I was 13, 14, whatever it was. It's like I drove it, I did all this, I've already done the magazines, we did all the shows. It's like I'm enjoying the car now. Rock chips be damned, I'm driving it. And just like, holy crap, dude, you effing rock. Just because I mean, you're driving $1.5 million car, and just like it's treating it like a $1,500 car.
And there is something to be said for that. There's no doubt about it. That does make things cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cars should be driven. I mean, that the race deuce, I'm going to drive it to Alex's deal on Saturday out to Burbank. So that car gets driven back and forth.
Well, and you know, I know there are a lot of people that don't, like, they wouldn't believe that, like, you know, and, you know, they just don't think that that thing possibly could get driven. And what's funny about that is that we look at that thing and don't consider it to be that, like, crazy, you know?
Really?
No. I mean, I'm not saying that as a bad thing at all. Like, I don't think of that car as that extreme, you know? I mean, but I guess that's part of where we're at then compared to normal people, is because we see stuff that's more extreme. So then it's not that extreme to us. But you know what I'm saying?
Everybody freaks out because it's got vintage air in it. I'm like, why not? I need to add weight to it anyway. So why not add air conditioning?
Right. Why not put good stuff in it?
Yeah.
You know, it's got a killer stereo in it. I mean,
it's one of those kind of cars. It's like, you know, the guy, you've known the guy for umpteen years, and you just kind of watch it, you hear about the build and see the build progress. And it's kind of like, oh, hey, cool, it's done. But then you go to a show or something like that, and all of a sudden it's like, you get this food car unveiled in front of you, and you're just like, ooh and ah, and it's kind of like, you didn't watch it grow up or come to that stage.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so it's shifting gears from car shows.
Go ahead.
I got one. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I know McTaggart did. And I bet it's on his list of things he wants to talk about, actually. So this is for sale.
King Track.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where I could put that.
So it is 25 feet by 50 feet is the space it takes up. So I did some checking on this thing. It is a slot car track. So you'll see that there's this picture here that's like a phone, you know, picture of this thing in a mall or something. So it's for Ford. So Ford had this thing on display, you know, at one of their events or whatever. I don't know if that means these people built it for Ford or if they just built it and it has been all over the place for all kinds of people.
That has been all over the place. I've played on that track. Now that you say that it was Ford that had that at their 50th anniversary for the Mustang.
There you go. Okay. I mean, you look at this thing, it says it takes up 25 by 50. So The truth of the matter is, like, I'm building a new shop and it's 40 by 100. So if I put this at one end of the shop, it would effectively ruin the end of the shop. Like, you wouldn't be able to put cars in it or anything else. Now, I think this is awesome, but would you play with a slot car track enough to warrant that much real estate for one? Or is that just, I'm rich, screw you, this is awesome? Like, you know?
Well, here's
Why
my
not,
opinion
why
on
not
that.
both?
Theoretically, the front stretch on that King track is equal to like an eighth mile drag strip. So
Right.
if you lined up, did timing setup on that, you could do eighth mile scale drag racing on the front stretch of that track.
Yes, that could be entertaining. Well, I saw that, and this was one of those things from the week that made me go, okay, that's badass. I have to share it. So then one of the other things that entertained me, and then I'm going to let McTaggart choose something. Did everybody see Tony Stewart's house that's for sale in Indiana?
No.
No?
I've seen a walkthrough of the house. I was watching some random YouTube video, and one of Tony and Leah's friends that does wakeboarding, they invited him out because Tony's got this private lake.
Yes.
And he gave the guy a tour of the house, and I was just like blown away by like how much, even as big as the house is, how much crap Tony has.
Oh yeah. So this is the game room, and it's all, gambling stuff and a giant bar. This is to the left from this picture. If you turned left, you'd see the Indy car on the wall. I'm assuming that's his Indy 500 winning car, and that it doesn't come with the house. But everything else I bet does. The kitchen's huge. The living room, it looks like a Bass Pro Shops inside though.
Yeah.
It legitimately.
Oh, I love that's amazing right there.
Right? It looks like Bass Pro Shops. And I mean, it has fake deer and everything, and fish and the whole deal. The lake that Wickham is talking about is right here. That would be awesome to me. Obviously, you'd need a full staff. Here we are back in the bar. It has a bowling alley in it. It has all these other rad things. Like, it's nuts. The stuff that is in this house. It is truly incredible. And I love it. I mean, it's not my style at all. Like, it's not, if I had enough money to build a $30 million house, because that's the asking price, by the way, that wouldn't be the style of house that I would build, but it's done exceptionally well, obviously. So
one part of the property, he actually raises elk for breeders.
Yes.
And has like a wildlife preserve out there, which is
correct.
I didn't know he was into that kind of thing as well, but it's just like, it's another moneymaker, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So if you go to the Zillow listing, so go to bangshift.com and click on there and you'll see it. If you go to the Zillow listing, there is aerial photos and stuff, and it's a few hundred acres. What's amazing about it, it's an hour from the airport in Indy. So it's very conveniently located, even though you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. It is a licensed game preserve with elk and deer and turkey and all kinds of things. And like Wickham says, there is an area you can see in it where there are pastures. Watch out, Wickham. Watch out. The cat is
hell
here.
No.
There's your buddy right there.
Yeah.
Just a friendly little cat.
Nova's like, dude, Wickman tastes yummy. He tastes like chicken. But anyway, so it's badass. The house is
Here's
really.
the question: can we Airbnb that for PRI?
Oh shit!
God.
Yes. Yes.
Why are we sticking on PRI? I want to.
Here's
I'll go there in the
why.
fall. You see how pretty it is in the fall?
Here's why, Jefferson. Because we would tell everybody we actually wanted to meet with, just come here the day after, and we'll talk then, right? Oh my God, that would be awesome. Okay, the last one that I'm going to mention, and Crosby will shake his head. If this was a Chevrolet, I would be trying to buy it. It's a dually van. It has a power stroke in it with a turbo. And I love
Notice
it.
the deflector on the roof.
Oh, dude, the only thing I would change, actually, because I'd put a turbo wing on there instead.
God.
Right? Look at that. So, I mean, I need that like a hole in my head, but it's rad. So the guy that owns it actually sent me an email and said, hey, I'm just checking in to see if you might know somebody that would want this because it looks like something you'd put on Bang Truck. I don't know this guy. Not from Adam. He totally just like looked on the site.
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was
saw
doing.
that. That's not my fault. That's not something I would have picked.
I know, but I love it. So there you go. So yeah, no bubble windows. It does not have bubble windows because it's a passenger van, but it's rad. Like I love it.
What
and
year
dude,
was that?
It's an
Early
85.
Really?
Okay. And so it did not come with a turbo diesel. It came with a 6.9, I believe, which was a gutless pig, but somebody's put a turbo kit on it. And obviously made it into a dually. Now, if you look at the dually like flares, if you will, dude, they're nice. Like they fit it well. I mean, the thing is, it's
my question is, does the door open past them?
Cold?
It must, but okay, I'm sure it does. And here's why I say this.
Ran.
So look at this, Crosby. If you look at, well, here, let me do this.
Okay, I see where you're at. Yeah, it looks like a little extended arm right there.
Yes. So anybody that
so
knows,
they put the longer strut on it.
yes, see it right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody that knows custom vans knows that if you put flares on a van, then this arm that rides in the track back here has to be made longer so that when you pull the door open, the back of it kicks out far enough to clear your fender flares. And that's exactly what it looks like on this one. So it looks like it's legitimately been done right. And I don't see rust or anything.
I don't know. And it's got the old aluminum running boards and everything from what, Stoll or something.
Yeah. Now, here's the very sad part. We are all dissecting how great this is after we just completely murdered the grade 8 Riddler, and we're in love with this, which just means that anybody watching this is like, you're a bunch of idiots, and nobody should trust your opinions on shit.
Please, this is par for the course for me. What are you saying?
I know.
But we could all sit in this. We could have John Meadows drive us around because he don't drink.
That's true. Yes. See, now, but here's the thing, McTaggart, you said, yeah, this is you. But see, if this was a Mopar, and you picked it, then I would just make fun of it automatically, even though it was cool because you did it. And so I'd have to. Because if I didn't, you'd think something was wrong,
Don't worry. I'm giving you a preview right now. I got something for you for tomorrow, big boy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I do have one complaint about it, though.
What?
It doesn't have Alcoas on it.
That was the first thing I was going to say. It needs Alcoas.
It also needs to be about 4 inches lower, just at the minimum. Like if you don't do anything else to it, just lower it about 4 inches and it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
All right.
And I'm always looking for Alcoas just because I'm sure if I find the right set, it's like I'm going to want to build something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna
Wickham the other day, Wickham sends me a thing and goes, hey, can I borrow your dually? And it has a picture, and it's a picture of a dually that has this whole tubular back half with like 36-inch tall dualies on the back and no bed, like a mud racer or something. And I'm like, no, you cannot.
There was a COE, a Ford COE at the Tri-State Auto Show this past weekend that had a set of I've only seen like one set, and they were on this truck where the 19.5 Eagle Alcoa look like wheels.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. The only problem with 19.5s is that like Billet Specialties and a couple other companies started making direct bolt-on 19.5s for dualies years ago, and Chuck Schradel had them on his and everything, and they're nice. The problem is on a brand new dually, they're fine, even if you lay it out, because the wheel wells on a new truck are like 7.5 feet tall, right? But on a real dually, like a square body, if you lay it on its balls, then the 19.5 tires are too tall and they come up through the rear fenders. So they just won't work. And nobody makes a 19.5 that's small enough. And my buddy Josh works at Bridgestone Firestone Bandag, which is, I mean, in the commercial truck tire division. We have actually had discussions with some of his people above him about the need for a lower profile 19.5 that would be used for, normal people trucks. The problem is that like Ford went, we'll put them 19.5s on F450s or 550s or whatever that now idiots are buying as regular trucks. And now they're wanting to cut their own throats because diesel prices are $175,000. But anyway, they made them so that those fit anyway. And so then they're like, we don't care about you lowered truck guys. So, oh well.
Well, the other problem with the 19.5s is they weigh a ton.
Oh yeah.
They're like 9 million ply, 11 million ply, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, they are. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, how many plies are they? All the plies. Yeah.
And you can't put enough shock on the truck to control the freaking tire weight. So you're in a fucking perpetual blender.
Yeah. And it wears out everything. There is no doubt whatsoever. Okay. So what do you got, McTaggart?
Well, let's go ahead and stick with this weird subject for a minute. Chad, would you mind bringing up the airplane car, please?
Okay, now I'm the one that posted this.
Yes, you are.
So I will take the credit on this one.
You got this one coming.
This one is pretty entertaining, and I had to stop myself from laughing while I posted it. It's been a couple. There it is. Okay. So this is the airplane car that McTaggart is speaking of. Is this bad boy right here, my friends?
What the hell?
Yes.
I love this thing.
I know. Okay, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a 4-wheel drive version of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. For some reason, it's like there's nothing about this that's good, and yet I still want it.
It reminds me of a little play school toy airplane I had when I was a kid.
Yes. Oh, it totally looks like a toy.
The only thing it's missing is the Evel Knievel in gold leaf down the side.
Oh my God! Yes, 100%.
Yes,
winning Wickham, winning.
Yeah,
that is so true, dude.
Does it have a Mustang 2 grill shell down there?
I don't know.
No, it just looks like they just put 2 fog lights in and centered the thing. It looks Mustang too. I see what you're seeing, but.
And so the interesting thing is, it's actually a '79 Jeep Cherokee.
What?
As if you're worried about fuel economy before.
Corvettes on the back, or C4 Corvette taillights on the back.
So I think that if you hung a corner in this thing hard, you could tip it over on its side real easy.
Yeah.
But look at the party inside.
The interior is spectacular.
Do you understand
this is the Admiral Club's. This is for the Admiral Club.
Where do they get the Liverpool?
I have a new name for this thing. The rolling mullet.
Oh, dude. Yes.
No. The wood carving. The wood carving at the front.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And then there's this jank steering wheel.
Oh yeah, it's got a horrible Grant on it that's all faded and janky, and yeah. Now it does. Okay.
I'm sure PPG's proud to have their name on the back of it.
Oh yeah, the rear tail comes off, and it will fit in a shipping container to be shipped if needed. It says that in the deal. And look at the electric fan, the giant Flexolite fan in the front, right?
Yes, I love that.
Dude, that thing looks like the most pissed off bullet train on the planet.
I know. It's hilarious. Now, so if you took this thing and you laid it on its balls with with like some other wheel and tire combo on it, would it make it cooler or worse?
I think it would make it worse. I think that is just right. Jacked up.
Yeah.
I think that's
Now-
just right.
Now, the only thing I would do different is I would put airplane tires on it, the big, tall airplane tires, instead of the off-road tires, because that would be just extra saucy to me. My brother Mike says it's not as pretty as the Dymaxion, which I don't remember what that is. Road Rush Nation, this is why inbreeding is so wrong. Yes. Yeah, Liggett says the tail section / rudder will make it really difficult getting under a gas station cover. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, it's entertaining. So
I would just love to hear the cop if you get pulled over in this, try to figure that one out. Just
right?
I
agree. Okay, so what's your next one, McTaggart?
All right, so my next one isn't actually on the site.
Okay.
I'm going to send you the photo here in the private.
Okay.
I think that works.
Oh, I will tell everybody that's watching at home, remember, we have tons of photos up right now. We have a bunch of photos from the March meet. We have photos from the Tri-State Auto Exhibition, thanks to Wickman. We have the Tri-Cities Car Show photos coming up in a couple of days. A bunch of stuff. So for sure, speaking of which, dude, this Impala right there, I'm sorry. If that's not cool to you, we cannot be friends. Look at that.
That car is owned by my buddy Chris Anders, which I've known him since 1991. We go way back to mini trucking days.
Wow.
Crosby will probably remember his truck. He had a purple Mazda with white scallops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That Courtney featured in mini trucking back in the day.
Then I know the truck as well.
Is that
that is the same guy.
Is that an Impala or a Biscayne, Wickham?
That's an Impala.
Is it?
It's awesome.
The
I love
angle,
that
I
thing.
can't see the B pillar. So
Yeah, I love that car. Okay,
That's
sorry.
cool.
So
Okay.
So anyway, what are
we're
you?
gonna
Okay,
hold-
you're sending me
I
something.
can't. No, it's not letting me send it. But
Oh, okay.
we'll dive off on that. Basically,
Well,
what
you
it
can
was,
send it to me in Messenger on Facebook too.
Well, we'll short that one because it's not
Okay.
a big deal. We'll move on to something else, but just a
Okay.
5-second thing. Mint 400 recently, they let the Green Berets bring in what's called a GMV, which is basically, think tube frame Humvee with up armor, and you've got the idea. They let them run the Mint 400.
Really?
They actively did it. Jeff, I'll
Really?
send you this for a link. Yeah. Will this work?
I'll pull it up.
There it is.
Oh, okay. There you go. Oh, that's what I just pulled up. Yes. Wow. Okay. Hold on. Let me slide this bastard over here. Okay.
So
here we go.
this is a
Look
vehicle. So prior, I'm former Army. This vehicle is well after I got out in 2010. So I'm still trying to completely understand what this is entirely. I don't think it's completely Humvee. I think there are changes. I may be wrong. The basic thing is that this has to be slung load under a Black Hawk, quick maneuver. This is special operations vehicles. This is not regular Army stuff, regular military stuff. They sent these guys to the Mint 400, and they're actually doing laps on the course.
That's freaking cool.
Awesome.
So I believe that I know a company that makes parts for the suspension on these.
That
Or
would
did.
be,
Awful.
would be Ride Tech.
Yes. So I
Actually,
believe that.
that's not the vehicle though.
Well, there are several, but yes, I know this isn't the one that I've personally seen, but I believe
The
Yeah.
one
we're not supposed to talk about those things, though. Yeah.
No, it's legit.
Yeah.
The one you're thinking of is the one that goes underneath the Osprey.
Well, yeah, that one I know too. Yeah, but
Yeah.
this thing is pretty rad.
But this
Yeah.
actually might be that one you're thinking about. This is the secondary version that has a coilover and a shockwave on it.
That is exactly the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Well, that photo of
Where
it in
it's
the air,
only for load carrying capability. Yes.
The shockwave is just simply there for
Auxiliary.
Yep.
For all that shit that's extra hanging on it.
Mhm.
That's what it's there for. The
Hey,
thing
we
is
can-
rad.
We can put 4 Fox shocks on this thing. Let's put 8 on it.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
well, that photo of it in the air, I mean, that's giving you an idea that, I mean, is
Mhm.
capable of building speed even with all the armor.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I would guess that the thing's probably Duramax powered would be
Has
my
to be
guess.
at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean a new Duramax makes big boy steam, and even in dumbed down military version, it still probably makes 350 horsepower and 800 foot-pounds. So
And of course, they got to have the engines capable where a 17-year-old kid can work on it. So,
right. Yes, that's true.
Mhm.
100%.
I think it may actually be one of the newer ones. That's the 4-banger one, though.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I would be really impressed if it was, honestly. That'd be
They
a hell of
make
a
good
Twitch test.
power. That's cool, though. I like that.
Well,
But that's not the
that little 4-banger one. Don't quote me on this, but it's like 270 and like 360 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
sounds about right, yeah.
These things are cool. I like it.
And that's not even
awesome.
the weirdest vehicle at the Mint. So there's that, Chad.
Oh, I see.
one of the other
I know
oddballs.
this one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, this thing actually finished the Mint 400,
Oh shit!
from what I understand.
Pick 'em.
Yeah, it did finish the race.
is
Really?
that part of the Gambler crew or?
I don't know. I think it was just Score will basically let anybody run that wants to run. And they have forever. Even when Sal was running the whole thing, he was, super cool about that. I remember Freiberger and I having conversations with him and him saying, dude, if you guys build something and you want to come out and run, like we'll figure a place for you to go. Like, he said, like, even if it doesn't fit in a class, we'll just stuff you in between 2 classes and send you, you know what I mean? Kind of deal. And so, this is probably that kind of deal, you know what I mean? So, but I love it. It's cool. It's, it's uglier than Sin Dipped in Misery, but it's great.
Yeah, you'd have to drink your champagne out of a sippy cup, but
Yeah. I have a feeling that this thing is like, a crew cab, truck underneath there or something. You know what I mean?
It's got to be. It's got a front
It's
axle.
running a 4.6.
Yeah. So I would assume it's a Super Duty extended cab or crew cab Super Duty, and they just jammed it under there. There's probably, it sounds funny to say, but there's probably one of the Super Duty configurations, because you can get all the different bed sizes. There's probably one of them where it just lined up, at which point, like, bolt that sucker together and go,
I have a point to be made right now, though.
Okay, get on it there, big
This
dog.
actually makes the Riddler winner make sense.
Uh-oh. I
No comment, McTaggart?
It might. I have to say the zoomies, I hate zoomies, unless they're on a funny car. So yeah, I can't stand the zoomies. I approve of all of the other, off-roadish things going on here. I imagine that it rode really nice, actually. With that much wheelbase, it'd have to be pretty good. But I wonder what kind of carnage it had,
It is the original chassis welded on top of a Chevy 1-ton chassis.
Oh, okay.
So
There
it's
you
running
go.
the original drivetrain to the
To a divorce transfer case. Yep.
So that
To the
thing's still
1-ton.
rocking a mod motor.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, it's a 4.6.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah. Oh, that's not right.
Yeah, but the welding the stock chassis right on top of a one-ton, that's absolutely the easiest way to do this.
And it's using an Atlas transfer case.
Okay, well, there you go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'll bet you that
Not
they
really
got a
simple
bunch of
package.
gear in this thing and a bunch of gear in the Atlas.
Well, the transfer case is worth more than the rest of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, the transfer case and the one-ton chassis, yes, are all the value of that thing.
Yeah, the whole idea
so-
of doing something like that is just for the hell of it. And
So
for
if
that
you
reason
look-
alone, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But if you look through the windshield, you can see the thing clearly has a bunch of roll cage in it, right? And it has containment seats in the front. Now, it does have a set of extending stairs that come down to get in the back door. So my question is,
Of course it does.
are there seats in the back? And could you even ride back there without puking your brains out
Oh, God.
during the like? Think about that, dude. Holy
Dude.
hell! It'd be the vomit. I mean, oh God, that thing would be bad. You know what would be entertaining about that though? I mean, virtually every limo on Earth has been puked in at one point or another.
Yeah.
Is about as bad as the Faster with Finnegan wheelie motorhome thing that they did.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's bad. But I love that they did it, and I support it
It's
because
still. Oh, sorry.
I would like to do dumb stuff like that. I approve of that.
It still has the full bar in the back.
Nice.
Yes.
And the only thing that happened was it cracked a radiator, according to the article.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
With full
I-
bar.
I approve of this. I
Just
do.
need to take that thing around and charge people to ride.
Well,
in
see,
the
I
back
was
and
going
have
to
a
say
little fun.
next stop is any strip club in Vegas.
Right?
And
Yeah,
that's what they're
exactly.
going to use. They're going to pick you up from the airport now.
Well, and I mean, it's the Mint 400, which is in Nevada. So,
Right.
I mean, it's,
Literally,
hello.
next stop.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, how much fun that thing would be at King of the Hammers, because I mean that's just a
Oh.
party as it is.
Dude, to go run around hammers and that, you could never do the like actual course with it,
Oh no,
but just to use it as you're going around hammer town. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yes,
I got a
Wickham.
bar. I got comfy ass seats.
Yes. That is a genius move right there. That is a genius move. I approve of all that you're insinuating there, my friend. Oh my God, that's
President
great.
limo drivers in the chat, Liggett, and yes, the Crystal Decanters survived the race.
Dude, now, you know, it's funny you say that because, yes, Liggett is the most qualified person we know to drive a limousine. So,
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
only thing that make that complete is having was it Del Worsham's margarita blender hanging out the
oh,
back.
dude. Yes. Now, you know what's funny? So, Worsham's got them. Now there's like 4 of them in the country or 5 of them in the country. Scotty Palmer has one, and Palmer uses his all the time. Like, Palmer's margarita machine gets used all the time. So, El Toro 66 says, call it the vomit comment. Oh, I love it.
I still
Holy-
have 8.3 liter Arius that we need to make a margarita blender out of.
That'd be cool. Hell yeah. I love it. I think this is greatness. I seriously, I dig it. That's so funny. Oh my God. All right. Anybody else got anything funny we should talk about? We're like, we're fully an hour and a half into this gig already. It doesn't mean we have to stop. I'm just saying.
I have a little complaint.
Okay.
oh crap!
No, it's actually
Okay.
it kind of fits into our criteria.
Okay.
Why can't anybody in the exhaust industry build a header or manifold that comes out of the box that the exit port is at the same height as the opposite side?
Oh my God. Yes, dude. Yes, yes, yes. It is. There literally are only a handful of headers that you can buy on the market that actually are at the same height. You are 100% right. And I don't
get it.
understand it.
I have a set of manifolds. I won't say where they come from, but I think you have a pretty good idea of who they came from.
Yeah.
And they are literally 1 3/8 inches off from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Crap!
And I was like, they're freaking cast iron manifolds. You can't
Right.
even get them within an inch of each other.
Right. So then
Is
it screws
that-
up your your tubing going back and to keep everything symmetrical. I
Is
know,
that
because you
for
and I are the
clearancing-
same way on exhaust, which is super anal and not good. Yeah.
Well,
Would that be for clearancing the starter just because you have so many?
No,
It
not even,
they
not even
people
close
will
to-
use that excuse, but no, there is no reason for that. Like
not
it
even
doesn't.
close.
Yeah.
Because
And-
it's on LS, and it literally the right side is 1 3/8. The flange is 1 3/8 higher than the driver's side.
Yeah. The driver's side is usually the
Yeah.
lower one. Yeah.
Yep.
So on
You
a
would
small
think-
block Chevrolet, that's the normal. You always drug the driver's side one over all kinds of crap, and the passenger side would be fine.
Yeah. Do you have
Also, but you know what? That's the same guy that that decided on the height is the same guy that decided that on a set where the 3-bolt flange was welded, that
With
they would
hold
put it
at the
so that
bottom.
that the single was on the bottom, right? And I know that the reason they did that is because they're like, oh, well, that would be really close to the floor otherwise up here, or hard to get at the bolt. Yeah, but you just gave me a 1/2 inch less ground clearance, you turd. Yeah, I hate that crap. Yeah, I don't do that. Plus, you know my thought on every car on earth should have solid motor mounts so that nothing moves anyway. So then I can put my exhaust 1/4 inch from shit and it doesn't matter. So
Well, at least the left side.
all of the sides. I never put anything but solid motor mounts and stuff. Dad says they are made that way because they are made in China. No, they're not, but yes. Or not all of them, I should say. Okay. One thing we didn't talk about, and I think we need to table for next week because this will be a long discussion, is EVs, electric vehicle stuff. I do want to have an EV discussion. I will say that anybody that's watching, you want to tune in. I say next week, the week after. So 2 weeks from now, when we have our next Powershift, we'll talk about this. I am not opposed to electric vehicles. I mean, I love my internal combustion stuff, and I don't want us to not have internal combustion stuff. But I don't have any problem with electric vehicles either. I just think they're a different thing. And yes, there's all the discussions, then we'll talk about some of these, about the grid and all these things. But I'm going to leave you with one thing, to just think about this, okay? And then we'll go into detail next show. Everybody bitches and moans about electric vehicles and in some way, shape, or form negatively refers to them as a golf cart. Well, I've never met a racer, car show guy, or any car person on earth who didn't beg to get on and drive a golf cart.
Yep.
So you dumb sons of bitches who say that, shut your damn mouth. You're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Because everybody loves golf carts. Hello. I mean, come on. So
The only
just
problem
saying.
I have with electric cars, everybody thinks electricity comes out of drywall. So
Right. Yes, exactly. Now that is a whole other subject. Exactly. But also I will note that, and Crosby knows this, and so does Jefferson, I know, and I know McTaggart and Wickman both do too, because of who we are. But electric vehicles came before internal combustion, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying. Like electric vehicles were in the 1900s.
remember that guy out at Scottsdale that had that 1903 whatever.
Yes.
That we weighed in the Ride Tech booth.
Yes, and it weighed 11 million pounds.
Drove it there from Cave Creek or something.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the dude drove it 30 or 40 miles for the day, let's say,
I
right?
think 110 years old when we weighed it.
Yes, and it had giant lead acid batteries in it that were in these solid metal containment with these insulator things around them and shit. Like you looked at it and went, I'm afraid to touch it because I think I'm getting electrocuted, And the guy's like, no, it's fine. But I mean, it had bus bars and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, shit.
And it was
the big breaker switch on it is what.
Yeah, throw that.
Yes, it did. It had the Frankenstein switch. Yeah. And it was, the other thing about it was, this was you didn't recharge this thing. That's not how this worked. The batteries charged themselves by chemical reaction
Yeah.
like a normal it was crazy and it was rad and yeah, super, super cool. So,
And it was a young guy. It wasn't this guy who didn't look like he crawled out of the crypt or anything. He was like in his 30s, early 40s, maybe.
Right. Oh yeah.
I don't know where he got this thing. I can't even remember what brand name this car was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Showed up at the booth. Can you weigh this? And we're like, we just weighed a dump truck. I'm sure we can.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's cool about the old stuff like that too is like, I mean, 1900s cars had the super tall wooden wheels and everything. And, you know, I mean, some of those cars back then didn't even have inflatable tires. They were solid rubber. Yeah. And then they went to inflatable and all that. I mean, there's so much like that was cool back then. And like, that's like other people don't know that everybody thinks of like the first overhead valve V8s, you know, coming after the Ford Flathead and everything. Dude, Chevrolet had an overhead valve V8 in like the teens or whatever it was. It was, you know, I mean, that they were all outside. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
but you could see all the valve train. It was all exposed, but it wasn't it like 1915 or something like that?
I think it was earlier than that. I think it was.
Jefferson will look it up. He's checking. I can see it already. He's on it. He's on it right now.
10 or 11.
I was going to look up and see if I had pictures of the oldest running Chevrolet, which is a 1912, and I just got to locate that.
Something interesting I came across this past week. I didn't look that much into it, but supposedly a company in California drove in a Volkswagen Bug in the morning, and by that late afternoon, early evening, had done a full EV conversion on it and was driving it that night.
That's
what was it?
By San Diego.
What was it?
El Cajon.
A Volkswagen Bug.
Oh, yes. Dude, Volkswagens are a cakewalk. Oh, okay. Bill and several people are saying 1917.
Is it?
Yes. Was the overhead valve Chevrolet V8. So Wickman, so when I did for those that aren't in the know, Holly has an EV division. They had an event called High Voltage, the High Voltage Experience at Sonoma Raceway this last year. They're going to have another one coming up this year in June. And it was awesome. It was such a fun event. It was so good at so many levels. There were a ton of children there, totally into cars, and that was great. I know it sounds funny, and we'll talk about that later. But the cool thing was that you got to see all these different conversions, and there was like a really bitchin' 70 Charger. There was a bunch of neat stuff. Well, the Volkswagens, Wickman, there were several, okay? Because the way that a VW, I mean, an old school like a van or a Bug works, where the engine is, 4 bolts bolting into the back, into the transaxle, makes them a cakewalk for an EV because they literally make a adapter with an electric motor hanging on it that goes up there and just bolts in place, and that you can bolt them in place to the transmission so you can put it in gear and run it that way. It is super, super, super simple. And then battery placement next to the engine in the back and in the front makes them really cool. And because they weigh so little, they don't need very much power, which means they can have some real range with less batteries. It's pretty cool. In a van, there was a seriously sick 21 window there that, if you took all the EV stuff out of it, it's still $150,000 van. I mean, we know how much 21 windows cost now. It was epic. Everything in it looked stock, well, custom. It was slammed and, cool. But it did not look like any of the van body was modified. But when you opened all the hatches in the floor, it was full of batteries. It was super cool. Super cool. Yeah, I love that. I'm all over that. I have an electric golf cart that I am going to build my own battery packs for and stuff out of some like Nissan Leaf parts and some other things to put lithium batteries in it so it runs longer and does all that. And so I can boost up the voltage just a little bit. and make it be just a nice golf cart to take out to the races or whatever. But I also have a gas powered Cushman that I got. That's a big Cushman truckster, and it's rad. And which is the one with the cab that has a heater and everything. It doesn't have doors on it because it was a postal vehicle, and the post office kept the doors for some reason. I think because it had seals on them. But it has a pickup bed with a trailer hitch and the whole. It's super awesome. So
you could fit the long gun in with the door on.
Yes, that's true. That's true. It was hard to go postal in the warehouse. Yeah. But it's super cool. I can't wait to get it back up and running. It's neat as hell. So yeah, that's fun for sure. Okay. Yeah, no, I am not built. Jet Black is like, oh, you're going to build a 100-mile-an-hour golf cart. No, I am not. That is not the goal at all. It's not for it to be faster or any of those things. So I am going to lower it and put cool wheels on it. And then I'm going to paint it. It's a Yamaha G1. It's their first, it's like the third year they made golf carts, but it's the first model of golf cart Yamaha made. And it is electric, from the factory. I'll put a new, motor in it and stuff. It's a 36 volt. So I'll make it a 48 volt. And then I'm going to build a custom, dude, this golf cart's weird. Instead of having the seat fold forward to get at everything underneath it, like a normal, golf cart, this one, the whole body from in front of the seats, right? That whole rear half of the body tips up like a funny car. Okay. Well, it's heavy. Okay. And which is why they quit doing that. Cause I'm sure it fell on people and hurt them. Right. So somebody went, that was a bad call. Like fire that guy. Right. Same dude then went to work for all the header manufacturers, made the 3-bolt flange with the bolt down. Right. It was that guy. So
that's where he came from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he came from the golf cart and went to the headers. Yeah. So then the bad part about that is that means that the factory roof, which mine doesn't have, did not have legs that went down because they would have bolted then next to the windshield, which means you couldn't have tipped the back up. So the windshield the roof just hung out there. So then they had kits that people did where it would have a windshield with legs with pins and all this junk. So I'm going to build something cool out of tubing, like out of 1-inch tubing or something that's got a cool deal with the, awning out there, and we'll make it chopped a little or something,
Okay, the golf cart's new, but how many people have heard this story from Chad before?
That I'm going to build something cool?
I knew it. I was waiting for you. It took a minute. Wickham was pretty fast, though. Wickham was pretty fast. I could see it in his eyes. I knew he knew what it was. And Crosby teed it up pretty good. That was good. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Fuck you all, by the
way. Very much.
Okay, on that note, I don't want to talk to any of you idiots anymore.
All right. Because after this, Chad goes.
You're still laughing. You're not mad.
No, I'm not mad. All right. I want to say thank you to Jefferson for showing up tonight. We appreciate it. You are welcome anytime. Wickman, you as well. You're welcome most of the time.
I'm not quite sure about that, but
yeah, okay. I have to say I am
bring Toby.
Bring Toby. I'm genuinely disappointed that Wickham moved. Like he and I moved back here. The Rona was over. We finally started going to more shows. I've gone to more truck shows in the last 2 years than I have gone to in 10 years because there's a bunch of them still here. People still have mini trucks in Texas. And so Wickman and I have been all over the place, and I am seriously disappointed because we don't get to go to shows now. I didn't go to Throwdown Throwdown a couple weeks ago because the weather was hideous. Yeah. So I know people that went, and I was like, I'm just not going to go deal with the mud and all that. No way.
Yeah, that's you made the right choice there.
Yeah, it just would have made it no fun to go wander around and try to take pictures while tromping around with mud on my toes and my flip-flops. So, would have sucked. All right, Crosby, thank you as always. McTaggart, thank you. So 2 weeks from now, unless we decide to do it some other time, we will be back live for the next Power Shift. El Toro 66, did I eat the second Krispy Kreme? Yes, I did. There were donuts delivered for the during the live broadcast in Tucson the other day. 2 donuts, not a box, but 2 donuts. And I ate them gladly. It was totally Nate Hershey's fault. He started talking about donuts, and literally somebody showed up in the tower with an entire box of Krispy Kremes. And when he said donuts, I texted him and it was like, donuts, right? Because
Hey,
I literally
they brought them to you. That's all the best, you know.
I know. I literally had been thinking, God, I would die for something sweet right now because I'd been up there for 77 hours or whatever. And Nate goes, I'm coming to you, Chad. And he brings me 2 Krispy Kremes. I was like, yes, it's awesome. So yeah, it was good. So, all right.
Good friends.
Oh yeah. Bradley T, you're welcome. We've been doing a lot of live streams. There's more coming. I am supposed to do another one tomorrow night. I did not schedule it because there were some things I was trying to work on the schedule, but I am going to schedule that tonight. We're going to do a Dragon Drive live again tomorrow night. So I will post that up and we'll do that one. I have a bunch more people who have asked a bunch more questions. So we're going to do that as long as everybody's available for tomorrow night. So look for that to get scheduled soon. Remember to like and subscribe and do all those things. My Redline Life and at Bang Shift, both on Instagram. Check those out. If you want to see some entertaining shit like a guy jumping out of a moving car, Jefferson Bryant can be found at what is your TikTok name?
It's just Jefferson Bryant.
Oh, it is
Really
Jefferson
simple.
Bryant. Well, but it's at Buick Freaky something. Yeah.
It's 71 Buick Freak also.
Yeah, 71 Buick Freak.
I don't know.
So,
I'm new to it, but
you're trying.
I'm
I'm getting ready to start TikTok too, but for different stuff. But Jefferson legitimately posted a video today jumping out of a moving car. Now, I didn't get to ask you this. So this will be the last thing. Everybody go watch Jefferson on TikTok. What did you do it just to do it for fun?
No.
Or so shit went bad and you had to bail out. He legitimately bailed out of a moving vehicle on a gravel road. Not gonna kid.
Yes.
Nothing else fire.
Long story short. So we were doing an entry video for a road rally that we did with Mopar called the Mo Venture. This was back in 2010, I think. And we did our video and all that. Well, we had taken my Plymouth Scamp up from the shop to my house, which is about a quarter of a mile away down a gravel road. And I was like, well, let's get the car back down there. I didn't want to bother hooking it up to my truck and slowly backing the truck up. The car doesn't run at this time, doesn't have an engine. I was like, it's not a big hill. I'll just roll it. It'll slow down. It did not slow down. It
looked like it was hauling
30. It felt like 30 anyways. This has a full cage. I'm in flip-flops and there's no brakes. The steering wheel is held up with bungee cords. And I had a plastic race seat that was sitting on 2x4s. I mean, there was nothing in this car that was solid for me to even try. And so I at one point, I stick my foot out the door trying to stop it. I'm like trying to Flintstone this thing. I'm like, it's not working. And you can hear me in the video go, I shut the door and I go, shit. So this thing is rolling. And there's, right before I jump out, there's a little bridge. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to die if I don't do something. So I played chicken with myself and I open the door and I get my right foot up on top of the roll bar on the door and managed to jump out. And I made it 2 steps and then it's ass over kettle. And then the car swerves hard to the right and it hits a tree. And
how bad was it?
It was pretty bad actually.
Yeah.
It was
so
really bad.
So I'm not asking you this judgmentally because from the video it looks like there's not any room, but what was there like no field to just hang a left into or a right into or anything like that? Or you know what I mean?
There wasn't, because there's houses on the right.
Yeah.
And there was a barbed wire fence to the left.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But the thing is that afterwards, after I get out and I get the car, I'm like, why didn't I just bottom it out in the bar ditch instead of jumping into the bar ditch? I could have done that. I could have saved it, but I didn't do it because in the moment I was like, I just need to not be in here.
Yes.
This is not a safe place for me to be right now. So
yeah, because outside the moving car is so much better.
Yeah.
There's a reason why.
Not the first time I've fallen out of a car, by the way. It's happened twice, but
explains the second time, but there's a reason why they call it the law of gravity, right?
I was surprised. I'm like, I'm gonna stay up. I'm not gonna fall. I made it 2 steps.
How bad were you? Did you land in the grass? Because it's gravel with grass.
Yeah.
So no injuries?
No injury. Amazingly.
You almost wish you were like real wadded up, like not bad, but like where you at least look like shit. So you could be like, dude, almost died, right? Instead of looking okay and the car's all jacked up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the video, because I was at least smart enough to know that something could go wrong here, and I put a GoPro on the front fender. That's why we have this video.
Yeah.
And
there is nothing smart about that.
That's not the first.
I get out. And at the very end of the video, the fender came off it flew about 20 feet in the air. And I'm standing there looking at it, and I told my brother-in-law, Chris, I said, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. And we've been friends for a while, so I imagine that there are some pretty dumb other things too.
Oh yes, I've done dumber since.
Yeah, but Jefferson, 0 stars, would not recommend jumping out of a non-powered vehicle. Oh yes, El Toro, there is video. You have to go on TikTok and watch the video at Jefferson Bryant on TikTok.
I did drop a link in the private chat here.
Dude, it's too good. It is too. Oh wait. You can send me the link in the private chat. Yeah. Oh, well then hold on. Then I'll play it. I'll play it. Can I hold on? Let me see. Okay, hold on.
71 Buick Freak.
Okay, hold on. Let me make this work. Okay, everybody, you can watch this now. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay,
this is a good start.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Do.
That's fine.
There, I'm trying to stop it. Note, I do have socks and Crocs.
Shit.
I think that's the least of your problems right now.
Dude, that thing's hauling ass there.
Yes, it was.
Oh, God. I just get the foot out the door like you're testing the water.
Okay, gotta watch it one more time. Oh, crap.
Hi, I'm Jefferson Bryant, and welcome to Jackass.
Do not try this at home. Dude, that thing's jamming.
I will
You
say
did. You took
picked
2
the perfect
steps.
spot to go
Like,
roll in the grass because everything
oh my
after that
God,
just
dude.
looks like hell.
Oh my God. You did. You took 2 steps like, oh, I got.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. Boom, boom, roll.
Well, I was headed for the school, so he figured he better get out.
Yeah, exactly. Holy
You're not supposed to sound like a flat tire rolling down the road.
God, that's awesome. That is the greatest. I'm glad you didn't get run over by it.
El Toro's in here. Hashtag socks and Crocs racing.
I know, right? Dude.
That
Oh my God.
reason
On
why
that
I
note,
love
ladies and
GoPro.
gentlemen, we're out of here. Do not try and jump from a moving vehicle. 0 stars, would not recommend. Boys and girls, thank you so much. As always, the pleasure was all yours. Glad you got to see me. We will see you next time.
Jefferson, you're not an Uber driver, are you?
Oh, See y'all next week.
Good night.
I'm out.
No.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
See you guys. Been fun.